What's up, YouTube? It's Trent here with Visual Torch, where cybersecurity meets clarity. Today, we'll be going over day 18 of TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we've been doing these challenges every day. TryHackMe is releasing the brand new challenge, and it's beginner-friendly cybersecurity topics that cover things from obfuscation to cloud security and even some defender work. So every day that they release this room, whenever you complete it, you'll get a ticket, and that ticket will put you in a drawing for prizes at the end of the month. And the total amount of prizes total over $150,000. So if you're new to cybersecurity, this is a great way to learn more about cybersecurity or even increase your skills. So that being said, let's get into day 18. So here, the topic of today's room is going to be obfuscation, the eggshell file. And as we go along through these rooms, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the chat. If you don't understand anything, or if you want to just talk about cyber, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to talk about it with you. Okay, so let's see. Room is up. Okay. So it's day 18, and Wareville has not felt right since a wormhole appeared. Everyone in TBFC is on high alert. Systems are going haywire. Dashboards are spiking, and SOC alerts have been firing nonstop. Amid the chaos, McSkitty keeps her focus on a particular alert that caught her interest. An email posing as North Pole-HR. It's littered with carrot emojis, but the weird thing is this. There is no North Pole Human Resources Department. The TBFC's HR is at the South Pole. Digging further, she found a tiny PowerShell file from the email that the email downloaded. Among the code are random strings of characters, all gibberish, nothing readable at a glance. McSkitty knows malicious actors often hide code and data using a technique called obfuscation. But what is it really, and how can we decipher it? So in this room, we'll be learning about obfuscation, why it's used, and we'll be learning the difference between encoding, encryption, and obfuscation. If you took a look at day 17, we actually went over encoding and encryption a little bit. Encoding was the biggest focus. And then we will learn about obfuscation and some common techniques. And we'll use CyberChef, which is the same thing that we used in the last video. So things should kind of build on that. So went ahead and started this machine. Now we can get into the obfuscation and de-obfuscation. So obfuscation is the practice of making data hard to read and analyze. Attackers often use it to evade detection and delay investigations. So I know if you're going up against things like Defender or any malware, as attacker, we definitely try to obfuscate our payloads and any files that we are launching just so they won't get caught. So the more we can obfuscate it, sometimes the better it can be. But sometimes just those type of defenses are just really, really good at breaking through the actual obfuscation and seeing what it actually does. So let's say a security tool will automatically block any file that contains the word the Bandit Yeti. So to evade this, the attacker may use a simple cipher called a rotation 1 to hide the string. And in a rotation 1, the cipher is just a technique where it shifts each letter forward by one in the alphabet. So A becomes B, B becomes C, and so on and so on. But you can get further complicated, like we saw in yesterday's video. We had like rotation 13, which moved characters forward by 13 spaces. And then obfuscation in the real world. So far, we've kept it simple. In the real world, we'll encounter a wider range of techniques. One slightly more complicated technique will be utilizing XOR, where each character is represented as a byte, and each byte is combined with a key using the XOR mathematical operation. The only thing we need to know is that the operation changes bytes into different bytes, which sometimes make the resulting text end up with uncommon symbols or non-readable characters. So it's not something that can be easily done manually. So with this, we'll be using CyberChef, which is the same thing we used before. And then we will be using this link for CyberChef. And as we saw in the last video, you will be able to actually put in whatever text you want. So we can say, you know, let's say Christmas is almost here. And then we can encode it to something like base 64. And once the recipe finished running, this is what it would look like encoded. But if we wanted to look at XOR, like we were talking about, we could drop XOR here. Let's see if they give us just a key we can sample. Yeah, let's just use the key A and make sure this is not hex. And then when it bakes, this is what a XOR encoded message would look like. So next we jump down to detecting patterns. So the good thing about well-known obfuscation techniques is that it's easier to reverse once we figured out the techniques. The rotation 1, common words look one letter off, but spaces stay the same. So that's easy to detect. In rotation 13, we look for 3-letter words, common ones like the, and they become the ger and NAQ, but the spaces stay the same. And when it comes to base 64 encoding, we want to look for alphanumerical characters, and then a lot of times they end with the / or the equal signs. XOR can be a little bit more tricky as it is random symbols and strings. If a short secret is reused, we may notice that some of the words repeat itself. So here, just like we just encode to base 64, we could also decode a base 64 encoded string in CyberChef. So then we have unfamiliar patterns. If we're not sure what we're looking at, CyberChef has an operation called magic where it'll try to automatically guess and try common decoders for us. So to use it, we just add the magic operation and look at the result. And then if you see here, it probably thought that this was base 32 encoded, and it was trying to decode text. And then we have layered obfuscation. So sometimes to make it harder as attackers, we're going to try and obfuscate and throw more obfuscation on top of that. So for example, they're talking about a script here where we may want to compress a file with gunzip and then XOR it, and then finally base 64 encoded to get the obfuscated string. And then what we can actually do is we can reverse it. If we knew how much the obfuscation was layered, we can actually put it in reverse and get back out what was encoded. So in this one, we are going to drop down. It says unwrapping the Easter egg. Luckily, McSkitty detected something fishy in the email we received. She extracted a PowerShell script from a PDF and placed it inside an isolated VM to figure out what's going on. There's some obfuscation in the script, so we need to understand what it is. So we're going to start by opening this Santa Stiller. And this will take us to see what they're using. So we are officially 1 week away from Christmas. So it just feels like December is just flying by and the rest of the year is flying by as well. Okay. So only edit where the to-dos say, do not remove the validator call at the end. Okay. So ignore this. And then start part 1 is deobfuscation. So we need to deobfuscate the string. Let me pull this up so it can be seen. So to deobfuscate the string that is present in the C2B64 variable, which is this, and place it in the C2 variable so we can run the script. Okay. This should be base 64 encoded. All right. Just clear this out. And actually, it should be in our favorites. From base 64 encode. So we have a URL, which is c2.northpole.thm/exfil. So it looks like this is a C2 beacon that they set, a C2 channel that they set up, which is command and control, which is what attackers like to use. So once we actually get onto a system, we want to figure out a way to control that system and spread out agents that can communicate back. So command and control, you'll usually see like a server model, and then they'll have agents or clients that will go out and communicate back to the server that they place. So some popular C2 software out there is Sliver is a free one. You have, I think it's Mystic, and there's some other ones, and the famous one is escaping my mind right now, but it's an actual paid one that you have to pay for. So let's go ahead and get this file, place it inside here. Nope. All right, so I gotta tap this out. All right, HTTPS colon. // Okay. Now we should just be able to save this and run it. So good thing about VS Code is you can actually run the script inside of here and test it out. We'll trust this workspace. Okay, so it contacted the C2 endpoint, and it got the flag. What is the first flag you get? Let's see if we can paste this in here. Okay. So that one should be done. Then this one says we need to obfuscate the API key using an XOR single byte with the key 0x37 and convert it to hexadecimal. And then add the hex string to this file here, and it should run. Okay, so let's take this API key that they're giving us. Let's now throw it in CyberChef. We need to XOR this. The key should have been 0x37. And then we also had to convert it to a hexadecimal. Okay. throw 2 hex on after that. This has spaces, so that may cause a problem. But if you don't want spaces, we can select none. And this will now take out the spaces. It doesn't make me have to write it all out. Let's go back here. It feels like it's the one time copy and paste is missing from here. Let me throw it up on a notepad. Let's see. Oh, 74, 76, 79, 736. Oh, great. It's not typing in there. All right. We will just put this to the side. All right. All right, now we're typing in here. So we're at 74, 76, 79, 736, E1A, 74, 76, 79, 72, 1A, 766, 77, E1A, 7726, E. Double check it. 74, 76, 736, 1A, 766, 77, E1A, 7C, 726E. Okay, that looks right. Let's go ahead and resize this. And let's save this again. And then now, since they give me a PowerShell line, we can just go up and try and run this again. Okay, and now we have the second key, which is THM API obfuscation for the win. And now we can just run this, and we are done with day number 18. And there we go. We should now get the ticket. So we go ahead and enter it in for another prize. So if you like this video and want to see us live stream more of TryHackMe Advent of Cyber, please do us a favor, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And you can stay up to date with everything that Visual Torch is doing. And we also create videos giving you cyber news, cyber tips, how to secure your business and your life. So if you did like the video, like I said, go ahead, leave us that like, comment, follow, subscribe. I'll holler at you in the next video. Have a great day.